All right, so let's do it. We're going to make Steve's head. And the first thing we got to do is do our shape, which is just going to be a general box. So I'm going to delete this and let me start from scratch here. Um, that's fine. And then let me delete. All right, so that we're all on the same page, let's just go through and set our unit setup. Okay, so if I go into my unit setup, I'm just going to, for this one, do it in decimal inches. You can do yours in metric as well. It doesn't really matter. But we just want a base unit so we don't have like inches and feet to make our box a little easier to do. Let's go create. We're going to go create a box, and we're going to change the parameters here so our box turns into a cube. So I'm just to keep my numbers easy, I'm just going to go 10 by 10 by 10. Okay. Now I have my cube there. Let's apply Steve's face over it using our tool. We're going to go into modify, and we can do this and use this modifier whether we've turned this into an edible poly or not. But I'm going to go down to my Unwrap UVW tool, and that's going to give us the tools where we can take a 2D shape and wrap it around like wrapping paper, or our 3D object here. So in here, we have some different options and so forth. And one of the ones that we could use is this quick peel. Okay. And that's probably the easiest. What that does is it takes it and lays it all out nice and even for us. There's one other way we can do that. If your quick peel does not work, let's close this. That menu that popped up is called the UVW editor. Okay, so I can go and let's do this manually here. And I'm going to undo my quick peel. Okay, if I just have my shape in here, you notice it doesn't really make much sense. I have a checker pattern. I don't really have any picture on my cube. And I have these faces. If I move this off, I can go one. There are 6 sides here. So this is basically just taking all my sides and laying them one over top of the other, up top of the other. And it's very confusing because we need to give it a few parameters. So before we even do this, let's start by adding our picture of Steve's face onto here. So I'll have it in our classroom. It's also on our J drive here at school. So I'm just going to go and remember how we add a material and map to it. We're going to add a map of Steve's face. So let's pop this open. This is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to drag a physical material out onto my workspace here. Okay. And we are going to add a bitmap. And the bitmap that we're going to find is the picture of Steve's head. This could be whatever shape or texture that you want to wrap on your object. This just happens to be the one that I have for my cube. So I'm going to attach this bitmap to my base color, and let's apply that to Steve's head. This is already highlighted in here, so I can just go, it's not giving me that option. So I'm just going to grab and drag this node out to my shape. All right, there is Steve's face. Now, what you notice is this is taking my general shape, my painting, and applying it to every single side. We don't want to do that, but that's, if we remember, when we open this up, that's what it is. His face is, let's see. I don't like this checker mark. I want to be able to see what's actually on our shape. So let's add Steve's face in here so we can see what our pattern looks like. If I pull this down, our bitmap that we added of Steve's face is not here, right? We have checker or checker, but let's find it and add it under pick texture. So if I go pick texture, okay, we got to find the picture. The picture is under bitmap. So we open up bitmap. Let's go okay and find Steve's face. Now we're going to apply this here, and this is showing up in our UV editor. So this gives us a map of what's on every side, or we can scale those down and have each side represented by a cube here. So that's the two tools. If we do this quick peel, or if I come up here and we do this mapping tool, this is the alternative way of doing it. We can take our map and we can flatten our map. Okay, and this gives us some thresholds, and we want to space our squares out 1/1000th of an inch between each one of those squares. And I click OK. That also gave me the same effect as quick peel. I wanted to show you both because sometimes one works and the other one doesn't. Now, if I look at my cube, every one of these boxes is a side, right? Here's one side. That's the left side of his face. Okay. Now, this is all mixed up. Here is, if we go based off of the front of his face, let's start there. So rotate your box until Steve's face is right side up. Now, if I click on Steve's face, here's Steve's face. Okay, it's showing up red in both my UV editor window and in my perspective view. Now, I want to find this side here, and this should be the left side. So I click here. The box that I have highlighted is the one that needs to go here. Okay, but there's already a box here. So let's grab my move tool. I'm going to take the box that's here and just slide it out of the way. Okay, I don't want to overlap boxes. Now, I want to take the one that should go there and bring that down, and that will line up here. Now, if your ear is not lining up and it's upside down, don't worry, we can change it. I can grab my rotation tool and turn it until I need to, until his ear is lined up the correct way. And if you can't get it because you don't have your rotation lock on, don't worry about it. There's this cool little tool here under Reshape that says Straighten Selection, and that straightens this for us. We go, I can zoom in, I can line this box up exactly on this square, and it should be okay. Now, if our box is a tiny bit too big, I can also, if I have my polygon selected, I can go up here and I can scale my box down a little bit to make sure that it fits inside of our selection with our picture, depending on how your picture is. All right, so face, side. Let's do the rest of Steve's head real quick. We want to find this side here. So I'm going to click on, okay, nothing's over here, but let's click on this. This is the box right here that needs to go on Steve's, if I'm looking at him on his right side. If he's standing there, it would be his left side. So this lines up fine, but the rotation is incorrect. So let's rotate it. I'm going to grab my rotation tool, spin it around until it lines up the way we want. And then I'm going to straighten it with my straighten tool and move it into place. And it looks like I may need to scale this a little bit. Okay, maybe not, I don't know. I'll scale it down a tiny bit just to make sure I don't get any other background colors off the edge of there. All right, face, left side, right side is done. Now let's check the top. This top of the hair should be here. Oh, I just happen to get lucky that it is. If yours is not, move it into place. And then I'm going to swing around to the back. This back panel should be the hair on the top of his head here. I'm going to slide this one into place. Okay, for the back of his head. And then the bottom, the neck, I just did as a flesh color. And this could be on any one of these spots. It doesn't matter as long as the color is showing up. When that is done, you're finished with our first exercise in UVW map. Now, there's things that can go wrong, and there's obviously, we can stitch things together and make it a lot more complicated. We want to keep it real simple for the sake of getting our feet wet into this tool, and then later on we can add some complexity to it. So render this. Let's just zoom in and render this as a PNG. I'm going to go and set up my renderer. I can leave it as Arnold. I'm going to do my perspective view single, set my files to a location where I can find them, my projects for class, Steve's head, render it as a PNG, and then should pop up as soon as I hit render. And there we go. This is what you're going to submit for our first part. Thanks for joining me in today's build, and I look forward to seeing your first project in UVW map. Unwrap. Thanks, and we will see you in the next one.